Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are, whoever you are. Welcome once again to Nerd Week Live, the nerd news show brought to you by us, the folks at Nerd Caliber. I'm Rodney Brown. I'm the editor in chief of Nerd Caliber. I go by first person shooter on the internet. I just realized that I'm rapidly thinking about changing that name, um, given the events of the last literally, well, 1 week. Um, and Burley underscore adopter on Twitter. Um, Joining me tonight is, let's see, let's start. We're going to go counterclockwise to me, which means we are starting with the Mr. Clean looking dude. Nice shirt there. Byron, if you would introduce yourself.
Hello, interwebs. Byron McNeil, aka Byron D0, social justice rogue. Uh, anyway, I am a contributing writer for Nerd Caliber, video content creator. I do occasional social media stuff for Nerd Caliber, and hoping, and we got a couple of surprises down the bin that I'm hoping to be involved with it for Nerd Caliber as well. Glad to be here.
Always planning us. And also joining us in the absolutely stylish Gandalf chapeau, Lewis, if you would.
You're not wrong. Byron actually does look pretty fresh tonight, man.
Oh,
Hats
thank
off
you.
to you. I look like freaking trash. I almost said the F word. Came this close to saying it, but
It was
I look.
an F word.
He's trying to behave tonight.
Yeah, I got my Lamo look tonight. So,
I dig it.
but it's great to be back, guys. I haven't been around for a little bit, off and on here and there. Just been sick, viruses and stuff going around. But anyways, name's Louis Correa, co-producer at Nerd Caliber. Crash Your Photos, Crash Your Stampede if you want to play some games with me. Right now, I'm currently wiping my Conan roleplay server. If you are interested, just drop me a line. A lot of fun role playing that happens in that game, but also GTA 5, a whole lot of other stuff. Eventually, when I'm not sick, I'll be running my Twitch channel as well. So look forward to that. But I'm looking forward to having a nice conversation. We got some really solid topics tonight that we're all gonna go through, and I'm pretty sure like two of them we're gonna grind some goddamn teeth on. So get ready for that. And if you guys are out there in the chat, we do live read this chat. So by all means, feel free to interact with us, throw some questions and comments, and we'll reply to you if we can.
Absolutely. Speaking of that, people in the chat will say hello. Remy Dragon, hello. Chloe Marie, hello. Shay Marsh, hello. Brandon Heat, hello. And I believe that's who we've got so far.
Brandon Heat, nice name.
There you go. All right. First topic is. So, this is, of course, a scene from the upcoming Black Widow movie, which, guess what? You'll eventually get to see, but it will not be early May. It will be early July now. Disney has moved a whole bunch of movies, and they've made the announcement that these movies, their particular big ones, Cruella, Black Widow, etc., will also get that special access premiere on Disney Plus on the same day that they will be appearing in theaters. So Cruella goes to May 28th, but instead of May 7th, Black Widow is now July 9th.
So we gotta wait for Cruella Quinn.
Say what?
So we have to wait longer for Cruella Quinn.
Cruella Quinn, yes, exactly. And you have to wait a lot longer for the Black Widow movie. Apparently, this is based on the semi-success of Raya and the Last Dragon. The fact that they got a lot more people buying it on premiere access on Disney Plus than they did in theaters at all.
Yeah, man, the death of theaters, right?
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, and this Deadline article makes this point, that this comes one day, no, actually the same day, just hours after Warner Brothers announced that they were making a big deal. They'd finally signed a big deal with AMC theaters and Regal theaters. So Warner Brothers had made the big announcement that everything was going to go on HBO Max and theaters. Well, now they've made some sort of big deal about, supporting the two biggest chains in the world, actually, I guess, in the United States, certainly, AMC and Regal. And then
AMC better get on top of that, because I needed to see some games in my portfolio.
Oh, gains in your I said games in your portfolio. Why do you need games? AMC doesn't make games. Gains in your portfolio. I get it.
Yes.
Yeah, you out there day trading.
Yes, I am. I gotta make money somehow.
Good
Gotta
Lord.
do that GameStop and Gorillas.
Exactly. Good Lord help you.
I missed the GameStop boat.
Well, that boat is up and down and may sink. So anyway, that's a completely different topic. I thought this was going to be despised by all of my Black Widow stands that are, Facebook and Twitch and other things. And so far, to a person, everybody's like, yay, I want to see this in theaters. And now this means I'll probably get to see it in theaters. And that really kind of surprised me.
And on this hand, I can agree with you in the sense that, like, sure, people are excited to see it in a theater. And then on this hand, where I live in reality, people are going to be like, I'll pay that little extra money to just stay home. I don't feel like getting dressed up and going out to the theaters or putting any clothes on in general. I can just watch it at home with popcorn.
That's a good point. The whole idea of, there are certainly people who are absolutely chomping at the bit to get out there. There are also a lot of people who have become so used to the idea of doing everything in home that they may get to that point where it's like, okay, we can go out. Yeah, but I got a 60-inch TV, so...
Yeah, I don't got to listen to no crying kids,
Or some idiot who refuses to turn their phone off.
Yeah. Yeah, when I saw Cabin on the Hill, literally half the front row was playing on their cell phones the whole movie.
Oh.
So, like, why the hell would I want to... If I want that experience, I'll just turn my damn phone on and put it in front of the TV.
Now, before we sound like too much like grumpy old men, foreshadowing for our next topic, this is apparently going to be a big change for Disney going forward with, I guess, everything in their lineup for this year. So the Pixar movie Luca is now going exclusively to home streaming. And that's going to be on June 18th. So,
That's the Italian one, right?
Yes. That is way more like high fantasy weirdness than I thought based on the first couple of, short bits that we ever saw. When the full trailer came out, I kind of went, ooh, wow. All right. I'm now interested. And Greg, welcome to the chat. What up, nerd? Back at you. So, yeah. July 9th, folks. Black Widow. Fingers crossed if it's safe, we can get to see it in theaters. Who knows?
Yeah.
Now, speaking of grumps...
Could always spend that $100 and rent a theater out yourself.
That's true, although who knows how long they'll keep doing that.
Nice segue, by the way.
Yeah, here's a segue that nobody wants. That is the character, the stage character, Danny Sexbang, who is the stage character of Dan Avidan in his band, Ninja Sex Party. There we go. Thank you. The news here is that apparently one of the worst kept secrets in nerd YouTubedom, the fact that Dan Avidan is a sexual predator might be a little bit harsh a term, but certainly a sex addict and a not very nice person, and in this case, apparently a groomer of underage people, grooming them into doing things with them when they're adults. So that doesn't, I think, technically qualify as the P word. But it's horrible behavior.
Can we not say the P word, or are we
I guess we can.
I just want to be careful,
I don't think there's any reason. Let's, what? We'll say it with the British pronunciation, which is pedophilia. So there, now the YouTube bots won't get us. But anyway, video has come out apparently, and recordings of this happening. So this thing that apparently has been a not very secret for years just became a big uh, foment in the nerddom to the point that it was actually trending on Twitter. Game Grumps was trending on Twitter. This is pretty crappy behavior. Yay that he's been finally officially outed. But
it only took this long, just like
Yeah.
every other situation that people tend to be willfully obtuse about until it somehow either becomes the Vesuvius of social media or it becomes something that can no longer be ignored, or it's a personal friend of yours that you've been again willfully obtuse about, and now you have to face it. I've been in that situation with at least two different friends of mine who were, to me, good people, and then come to find out they're
They
the
were
same
scumbags.
same kind of thing. And I had to, break that. And then you go back and you think about all the times, like, when did I ignore something? But in this instance, this has been going on for years. Like we can't necessarily say, or we can say, but it would probably be journalistically uh non-professional to say, unprofessional to say, he's a pedophile, but we can allege that because we don't know if there's other victims that are underage that he actually did anything with underage.
yeah, let me back off. We can allege that. We are not going to allege that because that's how lawsuits happen.
Right.
We're
That's-
going to
that's where
say
I was
that he
going
has
with that.
groomed. There is evidence that he has groomed an underage person with whom, after that person reached an age of majority, he had a sexual relationship.
Yes, I was getting to that point,
okay.
but it's fine. I
Yeah,
was dragging out the point, so it's fine. Basically, at the end of the day, the guy did some terrible shit. It's coming out that he did so much worse, and hopefully he's gone. I liked Sex Bomb. I enjoy their music. Um,
that's the band in Scott
Scott
Pilgrim.
Pilgrim.
Yeah.
yeah,
I definitely am no fan of of Ninja Six Party. I mean, the music's cool and everything. And this is all news to me, but this isn't my first go around with a YouTube personality being outed, being outed for nefarious acts. I mean, perfect example, the late Justin Carmichael, aka Jew Wario, years after taking his own life, it was revealed that he was sexually grooming a number of his fangirls, and he was happily married at the time. And it's just so depressing to think about the fact that there are so many people like Justin and Danny who are taking advantage of their influence online simply to get the rocks off, and compared to people like Aaron Hansen or James Rolfe who just want to they want to do their job online and live their lives quietly. Like, you don't hear anything about Aaron Hansen because he knows better than to air his dirty laundry. I mean, John Jafari certainly sure as hell didn't know how to do that.
Yeah, it's that's the problem with one of the many problems with YouTube celebrity is that one assumes, or any kind of celebrity, now that you think about it, or now that I think about it, that one assumes that those people are somehow good people because we enjoy what they present to us in either YouTube comment or in movies or whatever, and that's just not a valid assumption. We
Yes.
need
and I
to
want
try
to
to get
correct
over
myself because I know I said Sex Bomb and I meant Star Bomb, which is another band that they do.
that. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah, Star Bomb is the one that I tend to listen to on Spotify a lot.
No, that's and that gets into the whole discussion of creator versus creation, and it's like I'm not going to stop listening to music that I really like because the people are terrible. Well, depends on the song.
yeah. I'm not gonna. I mean, for me, when it comes to that discussion, I won't spend my money on them. I'll still consume their product.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing because on one hand, I listen to Michael Jackson. I love Michael Jackson, but I won't listen to anything by Chris Brown. So, but
Actually, same here. Exactly.
my
Yeah,
own personal opinion about celebrities in general is stop idolizing them. Seriously,
yeah,
stop putting them up on a pedestal because they're just you and I with more money and some talent and something that they. It's not to say that you can't acknowledge their hard work getting up to that point of stardom, but also stop protecting them and stop dismissing the things that they do. Because if a celebrity who we pretend is we objectively but subjectively treat as like unapproachable and unimpeachable in terms of bad things that they do. Imagine all the people Monday to Friday, Monday to Sunday that you let go who don't got that kind of money.
right.
Yep. Yeah. So there's going to be further fallout to this. I haven't followed up on this since we actually saw the news here, so I can't tell you what Game Grumps has done, if they've done anything in the last couple of days. Um, if anybody knows in the chat, feel free to pop in. As Greg puts it, watched any Kevin Spacey movies lately? Yeah, no. Assuming he's made any. And IDKK, welcome back to the show. Um, so moving on.
Savage.
Yeah.
Moving
So
on.
savage.
This popped up earlier today, and that is the character Echo from Marvel Comics. Echo will be a character in the Hawkeye series. We covered this when it was announced. The character Echo is deaf in the comic, and Disney Plus has cast Alaqua Cox, a deaf Native American, to play the character, which is wonderful. This news, let's call it a rumor, coming out of Variety, which is a really well-established, reputable source, says that Echo will be getting a spin-off from the Hawkeye series that's been determined already. Single source, unconfirmed. You know, this reporter who apparently has deep inside sources is obviously not going to rat them out. So take that for what it's worth. But I think that would be pretty cool. Also indicative of how Disney is kind of willing to make anything. Um, you know, Echo is a very cool character in the comics. Echo is not a Echo has never had her own comic book. Echo is not a lead in any title that I know of. So,
Well, I mean, look what they did for what the MCU has done for Okoye.
yeah,
Black Panther.
but um, that character has actually had a short run series
Before or after the films?
before.
Oh.
Now, Okoye, I think there are two in this short run series. There were two Name of the Warriors.
Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje, thank you. I was thinking of an actual historical group called the Ulad Nail and just went, oh, I'm lost. The Dora Milaje, two of them essentially caused a revolution in Wakanda because of their belief about how the Dora Milaje aren't being treated properly. And I think Okoye was one of them. I may be wrong. If somebody else knows about that, also remind me. But the Dora Milaje in general, there have been characters that had their own comics spun off of the Black Panther and Wakanda comic book universe. Which isn't to say that there's no reason to do that with Echo and Native American representation. My Penobscot great grandmother would be very proud.
I kind of I don't like to connect the comic books and TVs and shows because I think that's not that we shouldn't say just well we can, but I don't say like, well, she hasn't led her own comic book, because then it sounds like the character doesn't deserve to have its own show because it didn't have its own comic. Whereupon, there are instances in televised history where characters began on a show and then ended up in the comic in a predominant fashion. Harley Quinn being
Harley Quinn.
a perfect
Yeah.
example. Mr. Freeze, another example. There, where they were on
Yeah,
a
the
cartoon
Inhuman.
and then transitioned into the comic world, not the other way around. So, I mean, I think it's really cool if this character is poignant enough or popular enough to make a spin-off, then go for it, man. The only people losing money is the studio.
Yeah, just to be clear, my observation wasn't about deserving. It was about business decision.
Right, and I agree, but also I'm clarifying because it does come off a bit like the wording was a bit like that.
Okay, well, thank you for clarifying. If I did come off that way to anybody in the chat, my apologies, or anybody watching the show.
I yeah. Um, I was just gonna say, yeah, I understand totally where you're coming from, Lewis. I'm just thinking, yeah, like I totally appreciate the discussion about giving characters who are lesser known more spotlight, but it's just like I just hope we don't get another Inhumans, you know?
Yeah, so do we have time?
That's tough because Inhumans were very popular in the Fantastic Four universe, but
Yeah, I mean they've
Yeah,
had their
but
own
they've
comic
always
many times. So real quickly, I'm trying to do this real quickly. The Inhumans was a business decision problem back when Disney, Kevin Feige, and
and Ike Perlmutter.
Ike Perlmutter were fighting, um, and that's why we had Inhumans. That could have been a good show, um, but
That's also why Terrence Howard got fired from Iron Man.
true. There's also an Ike Perlmutter thing, but or rumored to be. Nobody's actually written this down on record, but I can't think. I can't think of what my next point was. But anyway, if it happens, I'm in. I want to see that happen. Moving on to our next topic. Oh, by the way, Knight. I have absolutely no idea how to pronounce whatever those letters are. So welcome to the show. And White Wolf, how you been? Been pretty good. And welcome back to the show. Yes, moving on to our next topic.
Netflix, yay!
So this is Keanu Reeves's character in his comic book Berserker, BRZRKR. I'm pronouncing it Berserker because I think that's what it is. That's published by Boom Studios. The news is that Netflix has secured the rights to make a movie based on this and an animated series. Actually, they're calling it an anime series.
Oh, watch out.
Exactly. So, comic book is based on an original idea by Keanu Reeves. It's co-written by Keanu Reeves and New York Times best-selling writer Matt Kindt. Don't know what he's written, but it's apparently a New York Times bestseller. Ron Garney is the artist, and mentions a few other people in here. It dropped on March 3rd and has already sold 615,000 copies.
Nice.
So the character is basically this half mortal, half god, cursed to fight and commit violence. He winds up working for the U.S. government in exchange for apparently a promise that they can tell him what the truth is about why he's this immortal sort of half god being and maybe how to end his immortality. So sounds really interesting. Certainly got a ton of buzz. Yeah, I'm interested. I haven't read the comic, I have to say.
Neither have I.
Honestly, like there's always a conflict with me in terms of things like this because like I love comic books and I really enjoy the shit out of comic books. I also don't know if I want to watch an anime that's basically the old guard but with Keanu Reeves. And
this is pretty a derivative story
yeah,
in a lot of ways.
And then there's always the other part of me, the activist part of me that's like, cool, murderous half god guy that works for the U.S. government. How many brown people is he gonna murder in the pages of this comic anime series? How many Arab Muslim people are we going to send him out to murder? How many terrorists who are not white are we going to have him murder? Because that's, come on.
Yeah, but
Hate me in the comments for it. I don't care. That's how it be.
that's how it be, depending on the writer. Reeves is writing this along with this guy Matt Kint, so I can't imagine Reeves would sign off on, yep, here's another Arab terrorist group that we have to kill this week.
I don't know, man, because like again, I love Keanu Reeves, but I don't put nobody on no damn pedestal. No celebrities on a pedestal. He's not. I don't think he's micro watching everything that's being written and drawn.
Well, he writes it.
Right, but I'm pretty sure he's not micromanaging everything though. So like, in the anime and stuff like that, I don't think he's going to be doing.
Right. Well, yeah, when that stuff spins off, who knows? But I would also assume, my assumption based on what I have read about Keanu Reeves, and again, it's an assumption, is that if they wind up going off in a direction like that, he takes his name off it.
I can hope so, but reality tells me that anytime you work for the U.S. government, you ain't really killing a whole lot of white people.
Nope.
That is true, unless it's World War II and it's Germany.
Facts.
But anyway, so we don't have any idea when this is actually going to start. They just announced it, that this expansion will happen. And it's pretty obvious that this comic book was created to be ultimately an other entertainment spinoff. But he looks the part because, well, the character's based on him. Right. Now, moving on to another animated show announcement, and this is just wild. I've never heard about this. This is Koala Man. Hulu has ordered an animated series based on Koala Man, which is apparently an animated series in Australia, created by an Australian animator named Michael Cusack. But it's going to be executive produced by Justin Roiland of Rick and Morty and what's the Aliens on Earth one?
Solar Opposites.
Solar Opposites, yes. And Pokemon Detective Pikachu co-writers Dan Hernandez and Benji Samit. With 20th Television Animation as the studio. So, well, that would make sense because that's a Disney subsidiary that they got with the whole Fox purchase, and it's going on Hulu, which is essentially all owned by Disney at this point. Looks really bizarre. It's supposed to be an adult animation tale. Basically, this, Koala Man is an Australian, just average Joe dude who wants to be a superhero, invents a koala kind of, face mask thing, and goes out and tries to fight crime. No superpowers, just a dude who, wants to make his world better.
It's like the Australian version of Super 8. Or, sorry, Super 8 is the monster movie. I'm confusing it for this other superhero movie called Something 8, where the guy just puts on a costume and walks around with a wrench and starts beating people up.
Super.
Oh, just Super.
Just Super. Thank you.
Yeah.
The one with Elliot Page.
Yeah.
Yes.
And made by James Gunn.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. I get that. I don't know how violent it's going to be.
If it's adult comedy, it's probably going to be.
Yeah.
Probably going to be pretty violent, especially with Rick and Morty people attached to it.
Although I haven't seen it. Solar Opposites isn't that violent, is it?
It has its. I watched it and I actually really enjoy it, which is funny because I don't necessarily enjoy Rick and Morty that much, but it has its moments. Like it's not like a direct let's go gratuitous violence like Rick and Morty does, but it's like, oh yeah, we're standing in a corner and a thing smashes this dude's head, kind of violence.
I'm not sure. I'll have to check out the original shorts online somewhere before I make up my mind about it. Because, this joke's been done before. Average Joe tries to be a superhero.
Yeah.
He's bad at his job.
And when it comes to that, I think I'm more interested right now in the MODOK series.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
All right, moving on. We are jumping sort of back to the concept of what we first started talking about with Black Widow. The news is that Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the sequel to the Venom movie, has had its date moved. It's going to September 17th instead of when it was supposed to be June 25th. And this apparently has absolutely nothing to do with theaters opening or anything. This is because the latest Fast and Furious movie, F9, had got rescheduled to the weekend of June 25th from Memorial Day weekend when it was supposed to be premiering. So, so Sony just went, yeah, nope, and jumped forward a couple of months.
You can't compete with Fast and the Furious, no matter how bad it is. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a phenomenon that I don't understand, and that's why I believe in a god now.
Or just a completely random and non-understandable universe, because only in a chaotic universe could the Fast and the Furious franchise be as popular as it is.
It's wild, man. It's wild. It's not. Don't get me wrong, people in the comments. Like I don't hate Fast and the Furious. It's just I don't understand it. I don't like. It's just it went from like underground culture of racing cars on the streets to like Spy Hunter the movies. And
yes.
And I don't know what happened. And why is The Rock always so damn sweaty?
Kind of everybody.
Because he's got to show his muscles, and he looks great with that sheen.
There you go.
Apparently, that one scene where he was sweating like crazy, he was doused in baby oil. So that just perplexes me further.
Well, because if you douse them in water, it actually runs off and it doesn't keep the sheen.
Facts.
Now, you're a photographer, Lewis. I would think you would know that.
I do know that, baby oil. I understand how to drive cars, but can you ask me to fix them? No,
Hey, Lewis, I'm just going to tell you this right now. Know your role and shut your mouth.
Which is, for those who don't know, and before anybody jumps into the comments with, "Oh, you're so mean," that's a Rock thing.
Yeah.
No, I am mean.
It's totally.
I'm very
totally
mean.
Okay. I appreciate that Byron says that, because when I was a young man, I actually had dinner with Dwayne Johnson. So that's a story for another time. But
we'll have to definitely listen to that one at some point. That's going to come up in one of the new shows that we're doing, maybe. Which is a tease for stuff that we're still planning, folks. So we're not going to make any announcements. Yeah. So, and in case you guys don't remember this, Andy Serkis is directing this, or it has directed it. I assume they're in post-production at this point. Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams, both back. Woody Harrelson is Carnage, or as they spelled here.
Hopefully with a better wig this time.
Oh, that wig was awful. Oh.
Woody Harrelson as Carnage, man. I'm trying to.
So you've seen Venom?
No, actually,
Okay.
It's one of those movies that just slipped off my radar.
Yeah, it's one of those that's worth seeing. Don't expect anything other than kind of really dumb fun, but it's pretty fun.
And just be careful not to cut yourself with that edge.
there's
Fair.
Some edge in there.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Deadline trying to get stuff up, in a hurry. Woody Harrelson as the villain Karanj.
That's what happens when you have a deadline and you've been drinking a lot.
Exactly. All right, moving on, folks.
It works so well in the gaming industry.
Oh yeah. That is the wonderful Lena Headey. And the news is where are we? Here we are. The news is that Lena Headey is, as they say, coming back to TV. Lena Headey, of course, Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones. That image is from one of my favorite series, Sarah Connor Chronicles, which was one of the things that sci-fi series that Fox actually did really well and allowed to last more than one season. But the story is she's going into this series called Beacon 23. And it is a sci-fi suspense thriller set on, according to this description, a kind of a lighthouse at the end of the galaxy. They call it the end of the universe, but then they go on to describe that these beacons are used in faster than light travel from one point in the Milky Way to the other.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool. Apparently, Beacon 23 is at one of the ends of the spiral of the Milky Way. And I love the concept. Sounds really interesting. Anything Lena Headey is in, I can never remember the exact way her character is. Her character in Dread, what was her name?
Mama.
Was it just Mama? I thought it was something.
Was she the villain or the?
Yeah, she was the
She
villain.
was the villain.
She was Oh god damn! I should know this because I'm a fucking dreadhead.
In the movie Dread, the one with Carl Urban.
Yeah,
she was the drug runner that controlled.
I feel like it was like Mama, and then it had like a G in it or something like that.
I thought it was something more than just Mama, but
Big Mama, I think. No, I can't place it.
So once again, folks, in the chat, Dreadheads, come in. Let us know what her character's name was. So anyway, another wonderful.
No, it was actually Mama.
Just Mama. Okay.
Yeah. Ma dash Ma.
Oh, that's right. Because everybody called her Ma in her group. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't see where this is dropping. Oh, apparently AMC. And Spectrum. So it's a joint project between the Spectrum and AMC. It'll air first on Spectrum and then AMC, but no release date.
I gotta say, man, like AMC has some banger shows that they come out with, but like I hardly ever hear about them, and that's what I hate. Like The Watch, like it's
Into the Badlands.
Yeah, exactly. Into the Badlands was incredible. It was a cracker of a show, but like you hardly ever hear about them. They hardly ever advertise them, and then they cancel them before you get in there. It's like they're making TV series just for you to binge on something because this Beacon thing, I never heard about it, but it sounds right up my alley. That's my kind of sci-fi.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree about your opinion about how AMC treats its series. I knew that Preacher was happening because I'm such a fan of Preacher, and so, but they didn't advertise it anywhere outside the AMC family of whoever owns AMC.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly that AMC needs to get this word out somewhere.
The only time I've ever seen them like put any real effort is with The Walking Dead. That's the only time I've ever seen them like put serious like advertising on other stations and stuff like that.
That's their cash cow. That's why.
Well, yeah. But then again, some of these others might be a cash cow too if they advertised as much as they did The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Good. Tune in to like a few episodes of The Watch, man. It's great. It's like sci-fi. It's like The Bright, but not suck.
I would say that the reason that shows like The Walking Dead get so much promotion from AMC is because they're safe. Like a show like this is like a show like this sounds really really ambitious, and when it comes to the ambitious products, AMC kind of just like, oh, it's a thing, it exists.
Yeah, that could be.
The thing too is Walking Dead came out at the height of when people were really like zombies everything.
Yeah.
Like, so it pretty much was cashing in solid on like a 7-year trend of just zombies.
Absolutely.
Like even things like Marvel Zombies, the comics.
Yeah,
but those narratives were actually about the zombies.
Well, yeah, true. But yeah, all right. I don't think there's a problem with the idea that did I not create this graphic? Hold on, folks. I am confusing myself here about I didn't. Oh, got it in the wrong place. Never mind. So moving on to our next topic, now that I've found the damn thing. That is the amazing, the wonderful, the talented, the beautiful Helen Mirren. This is from the series Catherine, about Catherine the Great. But the news is that, according to Deadline, Helen Mirren will be playing Hespera in the sequel to Shazam, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Hespera is a daughter of Atlas, and I think that is absolutely, wonderful. Hespera is a villain, in case you don't know, and I don't. I haven't read enough of the Shazam, I think we are legally obliged to call it, not Captain Marvel, comics to know this character. But Helen Mirren, sold, done, I'm in.
Yeah, unfairly so, I still haven't seen Shazam either. I've heard phenomenal things about it though, and I keep, now that it's on HBO Max, I plan on catching it. But I definitely can, just by seeing like little bits of it, of like trailers and stuff, I'm like, yeah, this is probably one of the best DC movies that they made.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I mean, it's like the original Ant-Man in that it's, fun, enjoyable, kind of lightweight, but that's not a bad thing. No. And particularly for DC and its grimdark, that's kind of shocking.
Literally, DC at this point can just remove the blue filter on their movies and they would win me over, because that's how low the bar is for me.
Well, I would say that, but then if they had a red filter. What was that, Byron? I'm sorry, I talked over you.
Or just never hired Joss Whedon again.
Well, that's true, except Joss Whedon dropped the blue filter and then put over that god awful red filter.
Yeah, just no filters, because some movies just look good.
Yeah,
without no filters.
Yes,
like you don't need the blue filter to let us know that things are bad. We live in the real world. We know things are bad.
Yep.
And I get that in a movie that has a ton of CG, you have to color code the live stuff as well as the CG stuff so that you get a color match across the whole image. That color match can still try to be as normal and real as possible. It doesn't have to be washed out gray, blue. Anyway.
Yeah. Don't ever watch Rise of the Lycans, because you'll never see any character darker than white. Every person that's Byron and I's skin tone is literally just a walking shadow.
So, one, don't watch it because it sucks. But two, yes, don't watch it because of that. And even though one of those characters is one of the guys who helped create that entire universe, whose name I forget.
Because he was a shadow.
I remember his name.
Yeah,
and he was a person of color.
Yeah. Fantastic creator, actor and writer.
Yes.
But not that I'm a huge fan of the latter movies of the. Anyway,
I like Kate Beckinsale.
Well, yeah, Kate Beckinsale is gorgeous. She did a good job. Anyway, moving on. That is Naomi from the DC comics of the same name. We've talked about the fact that Ava DuVernay is making this a series going on to CW. And the news here is that they have cast actress Casey Wallfall from Power, Army Wives, and apparently was in The Lion King on Broadway as Naomi, as the lead in the series. And the series, the bulk of the cast is a story about African Americans, about Black people, and Naomi is a superhero within that. So the cast that they've already cast is Black actors, and once again, with occasional exception, the CW so white. Thank God we're getting some lead here in some representation among lead characters. It's not all just John from Arrow, or what's his name from Flash.
I know who you're talking. Joe.
Yeah, Joe from Flash, and Iris as well. But this is the lead. This is the star. This is what this entire series is about, Naomi. So yay for CW, finally.
Diversity.
Yeah, I won't applaud loudly because this is like the bare minimum, but
basically.
Yeah. And I will also, as I've said when we announced this, or we talked about this, months and months ago, getting Ava DuVernay to do it, that doesn't suck. Uh, that's a good get.
Yeah, yeah, it is. They could also like have a whole in the time that they were doing all of that, they could have had like a probably half a dozen other series led by POC people, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, Black Lightning.
It's a
Even though the
marathon,
show is,
not a sprint.
yeah, it's canceled or will be canceled. This coming season is the last. But they're doing a spin-off of one of the characters from Black Lightning. He's getting his own series. So,
so Black Lightning and Naomi
and whatever this other series is, I can't remember the name of the
and
character.
the spin-off that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
And how many white led CWs?
Well, let's see. I think
How many hours you got?
yeah, I think he's got 17 between
Yeah.
CW and what was DC Universe. So now the HBO Max stuff. I think he's got 17. Greg Berlanti Productions.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we don't know when this is going to happen. The comic book debuted, like they say, in 2019. They've been working on this for a while, so I'm assuming it's going to be premiering next year. But it doesn't say here in the article.
That sounds pretty reasonable. I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of DC stuff and things that this one I'm kind of not really sure. The guy in the yellow cape there and the yellow hood is Our Man. Our Man is one of the classic Justice Society characters. This image is from the very recent Justice Society World War II. And the news is Warner Brothers and DC Films is going to make an Our Man movie.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Our Man is currently a character within the DC television canon in the Stargirl series. And the character originally appeared in the Stargirl comics back in the 1940s. Actually, in 1940, according to this. So I'm
There
not
was
really
an incarnation of him.
Hmm?
Oh, there was an incarnation of him in the Berlanti verse also.
Well, it's Stargirl. Oh yeah. And in Legends of Tomorrow, yes, one of the alternate universes that they travel to in the crossover. Actually, that Our Man has appeared in a couple of episodes, and in an Arrow, as I recall. So they actually now have two different Our Man, in the Berlanti DC television universe, and now they're going to make I'm guessing a third one, because the people
The
associated
multiverse.
yes, people associated with this are not Berlanti. Apparently, as far as I can tell, it has nothing to do with this. Gavin James and Neil Widener are the writers. Sherman Entertainment is the producer. This is definitely not a Berlanti thing. So
I'm kind of curious how they're gonna run with this, because from my recollection, Our Man got his abilities from banging down some killer drugs to give him his superpowers. So.
I believe the way they put it here is the character Rex Tyler would go on to create a new synthesis. He's a chemist. A synthesis called Miraclo. Yeah, it's a drug. He takes it. He gets superpowers for 1 hour.
So he does it. Does he do it in his basement? And do we actually call it meth?
They changed the character from Rex Tyler to Walter White.
Yeah.
Luminous, welcome to the show. Our Man versus Daylight Savings Man.
It's just.
I remember growing up, I used to make so much fun of Our Man because of the fact that he uses power for an hour.
Yeah, like I'm gonna all right. I made a joke, but I'm gonna be a little real here. Like if you make a movie like this and you kind of tackle the issues of drugs, that might be interesting. Like if you figure out a way to have permanent powers or something akin to that, or some other way, it'd be great. But if you also tackle like maybe the fact that he only has the power for 1 hour and it becomes a psychological or physical addiction that he battles along with villains.
Yep.
That'd be hella cool. That'd be hella cool because it'd be reminding me of like the old Daredevil movie where like he gets into fights and then there would be tiny little half-second scenes where he's in the shower popping painkillers like a maniac.
Yep. Yeah. Or when going way back to the 1970s when Speedy was hooked on heroin.
Yeah. Which I did a photo shoot with some cosplayers once about that, and then I felt terrible about it after,
but it was excellent work.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think that's a great idea. I would love to see them do it, give it that kind of treatment. And we just, got done with talking about grimdark, but that would be grim for a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of the hero movies don't. They have lofty goals and lofty purposes for these heroes, but sometimes as a regular person, you want to see something a bit more grounded, and this could be that kind of grounded. I'm fighting external and internal demons kind of movie.
Open.
Yeah. So fingers crossed that it turns into something good and not just why are we doing Hour Man, or God forbid a comedy take on oops, my powers ran out, it's an hour.
Yes.
Anyway,
no.
Him just screaming for a bag of cocaine.
Stop it.
give me the cash. Moving on to something much more sublime. So these are the books in the what's called the Mad Adam series. Generally, they're more known by the first book, Oryx and Crake, but there's a Margaret Atwood who created the Handmaid's Tale. The news is that Hulu is doing yet another Margaret Atwood series. It's going to be based on the books. They say based on Mad Adam, but then they go on to say it's based on the trilogy. Being written by and led, the showrunner is Michael Leslie, who created the AMC series Little Drummer Girl, who was apparently going to be working on Peacock's Battlestar Galactica, and he's bailed on that. So these books are considered to be some of the trippiest things she's ever written. And I haven't read them. Spoiler, I was amazed at Handmaid's Tale. It was an amazing book. I think it kind of turned me off from reading Margaret Atwood because it's such a difficult book to get through. Not from writing, from subject matter. But this book, at the center of the trilogy are the events leading up to the near destruction of mankind and civilization by a malicious, bioengineered pandemic.
I wonder what that was like.
Timing. The catalyst for
QAnon right now. Get off our street.
Exactly. Yeah. No Q theorists, please. The catalyst for it is Crake, a brilliant and complicated young man, so disturbed by the injustices of the world that he spends his young life developing a virus that will wipe out humans and replace us with a new species of hominid. And from what I understand, most of the story is about how it worked and the characters that are post-human and living in this sort of new, rebuilding this destroyed world. Like I said, it's really out there. So it will be interesting to see, exactly how this turns into something. I mean, Hulu's done an excellent job with Handmaid's Tale as far as the series goes, as much as I'm able to take it when I watch it, which is not often.
It's kind of weird because, like, the way you described it, like, you know what immediately came into my head? That anime Blue Submarine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like literally, like that's the first thing I thought of. Like mad scientist that tries to kill off the human race and create like a different race of beings and all that. And I'm like, is that far fetched after seeing that anime?
I'd have to go back and look at it. So these books, the first one came out in 2003. So not really sure.
Blue Submarine came out, I think, in the 80s, 90s. I think.
Yeah, maybe 90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked it up.
So Atwood calls these books speculative fiction instead of science fiction. and says, quote, the timely cautionary tale will include her brand of satire and dark humor. There's not a lot of either of those in The Handmaid's Tale, so I'm not sure what. Again, I haven't read the book, so maybe there is a lot more of that.
Yeah. This definitely strikes me as a Greg topic.
Well, yeah, this would.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Greg has read these. But yeah, it's one of those. Every time I go through, whoever's Tor Books' list of the best, science fiction books, best 100 science fiction books of the last 50 years or something like that, Oryx and Crake particularly is always on that list, or any list like that. And I keep looking at it going, I should read that, but then it's Margaret Atwood. And it's going to make me feel like what The Handmaid's Tale made me feel. Maybe not.
You feel some kind of way.
It made me feel some kind of way. All right, moving on to our very last topic, folks. Looks like we're actually going to wrap this up in about an hour. Yay. That is a cosplayer cosplaying as Zatanna. That is Joe Fate cosplay, the amazing Joe Fate cosplay here in New England. The news is, when we're talking about, why in the world would we make an Hour Man movie? Well, they're making a Zatanna movie, and that makes sense to me.
Sign me up.
Sign me up. Bad Robot is producing it. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of lens flare going on there.
Well, producing. We don't know that J.J. Abrams is directing, and in fact, what we do know is that writing it will be Emerald Fennell, the writer and director of Promising Young Woman, which has been nominated for so many awards.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid movie.
Yeah.
I think everybody should see that, especially men.
I haven't yet, but it's one of those that's definitely on my list.
Same.
But there is no word, according to this article, about whether Fennell will also direct this, even though she is obviously known as a filmmaker, a writer-director.
Yeah. I mean, I want a Zatanna movie. Yep. I'll be honest, I do. I think she's a fantastic character. I think you can do a lot with her character. There's so much story to her. She's been in so many like critical story arcs in DC, from like Identity Crisis to like like a whole lot of other stuff too. And like she has association with John Constantine. Her and young Bruce Wayne were slapping the ickies. Like there's just a lot. There's just a whole lot. She was a part of Justice League Dark, both as a leader and as a member. Like there's not a whole lot that happens in the DC universe without this young lady being a part of it. And she has time to be a magician and go do like charity shows for kids. So
yeah.
I gotta say it right here now, Zatanna is my DC waifu. I have there are only a handful of cosplayers that I will drop everything for just to gaze upon their loveliness. And two of them are Princess Peach and Zatanna.
That's a good combination. Just jumping in a second, Greg jumped back into the chat saying, I haven't, I'll queue it up on the Kindle. I assume that means you're referring to the Margaret Atwood book, Oryx and Crake, or the series.
I'm pretty sure he's talking about that. I expect a write-up, Greg.
Exactly. A review 18 years later. So this is when I did a recent gallery, a retrospective gallery of called Old Stuff, which was looking at characters or character designs that were pre 1975 or 1975 and pre. It turns out Zatanna was one of the oldest characters in the Justice League canon, and her design originally was a little bit different. Her vest was yellow.
Ugh.
It's really weird. She had a yellow vest, with a white shirt.
I do remember that, actually.
Yeah. I have no idea what the design is going to look like for this. I hope it's good. I wouldn't mind if they stick to the fishnets and the sexiness. I also would absolutely understand if they go a different direction. Um,
So in the new 52, they did a design change for her, which kind of made her look. It was like goth punk sort of, in that instead of having fishnet leggings, she had fishnet arm sleeves
yep.
and kind of a more biker
Oh
aesthetic.
yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't think that was a terrible redesign. I just it felt like it pulled too much away from the stage persona that Zatanna has cultivated with her father, because she wears a very similar outfit to her father because of the training and everything like that. And
Yes. It was an
I'd be
homage to him.
okay if you utilize both. You
Yep.
know, you could have her in her stage outfit, but also have her in like a more casual outfit when she's walking around, because she ain't gonna be walking around in baller ass leggings. Oh, as much as I want that, she's not gonna be walking around in heels and leggings all day.
It would be great if they combined all of them, and that maybe she's also a big fan of clubbing, and the fishnet sleeves and
Yay.
so on is her clubbing outfit.
Yeah,
Um, as in dance clubs, not like clubbing baby seals or
yeah.
anything like that. Just make sure
Or
that
using that outfit to go incognito, you know, like because she ain't gonna be running chasing like spying on people in a top hat.
exactly. A top hat, fishnets, and tails. Um, so we don't know when this has happened. They literally just announced that they have named the Fennell as the writer, and this is the first I've heard of it. So, as far as I know, they've literally just announced that this, is going to be a movie. So chances are not anytime super soon. Um,
Fan casting. Right. I'm gonna give my cast choice right now. Anna Taylor Joy.
okay, all right, I can see that. You know what I would not mind is somebody a little more ethnic.
I agree.
I can see that.
Because the character is named Zatanna. You know, let's get
The girl who played Dora in the live action movie. She would be perfect.
I might have a little trouble, looking at the fishnet tights in the way I normally do, just because I might associate her with Dora, but that would be on me. Greg says, got to wrap up some work. Peace out, amigos. Talk to you later, Greg. And thanks for jumping in the chat. We're wrapping this up. That is our last topic. We are pushing out our Patreon as we always do. Patreon.com/nerdcaliber. If you want to help support us, please go there. Become a patron. I think we have like a $2 and a $5 level. We don't have anything like really super cool rewards. You're not going to become a member of the special hat club or anything. It's basically just if you love our work, you want to see us get out to more cons, that's a great way to help. So patreon.com/nerdcaliber. Gentlemen, do we have could we please or could we nots for this week?
Could we ease up on studios remaking established films? Like, yeah, it's cool that we got the Snyder cut of Justice League, but there is such a thing as too much of a good thing, and I can see this snowballing very quickly.
Let's hope this is a one-off. Lewis, any thoughts?
Could we collectively as a society and as individuals stop making excuses for killers, for people who go not just kill ethnic people, but killing in general, but especially ethnic and people of color? Like, stop trying to associate one thing with another. In this specific instance, stop trying to associate wanting to have sex with people and justifying murdering people of color for it. Let's not do that. A killer is a killer is a killer, and we shouldn't be justifying why they get to go out and kill, and we shouldn't be validating their stupid beliefs as to why they have a license to kill people.
Agreed.
Let, let's move
100%.
away from that.
Absolutely.
Yes, please. And my extension on that is because of the second mass shooting in 1 week, the one in Boulder, Colorado. I 100% support and ask everybody to support President Biden's attempt, and whoever joins him in this attempt, to legislate once again an assault rifle ban and a high capacity magazine ban. We had it for years after the attempted murder of Reagan. You know, the conservatives, absolute best boy, Ronald Reagan, when they tried to shoot him, then all of the laws passed.
Yep.
Don't let politics stand in the way of what's the right decision. Just the idea that Ted Cruz could get up in the Senate and say, after every mass shooting, and then he goes on to complain about how Democrats try to do gun control. Think about that. After every mass shooting, can you imagine another country in the world where that is something that could be just easily dropped as a statement in the Senate, in whatever legislative body of that country? After every mass shooting in our country, there's so many.
Yeah.
That statement can just be tossed off like nothing.
The fact that a satire site literally reprints the same article and just changes the location should tell you how frequent this is. This is as much of a pandemic as COVID. This is something that we have to address. Sensible gun laws, all of this stuff. And when are you guys, and I mean you guys by all of us, but when are you guys going to start putting a line in the sand as to what? Because my line in the sand was children getting murdered not too far from where I live, in a school. So what's it going to take before we step in and we start doing the right thing instead of dismissing it and putting it on other people? Because the way the world's going, people, we don't got a lot of time left.
Nope.
In this country, anyway. All right, folks. On that down note, and I apologize for that down note, but there's got to be a breaking point. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. Thank you all for your wonderful questions and your observations. Give us a quick goodbye, if you would, Byron. There you go, Lewis.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. It was wonderful as always. I love being here with my colleagues, having a great time. Thank you for your comments, and we look to see you again soon. Make sure to, if you want, support us on Patreon, on our YouTube channels, and in the words of our favorite werewolf movies, like and surprise.
And folks, next Thursday, or this coming Thursday in 2 days, our full fat spoiler chat will be, guess what else? The Snyder Cut. So if you've seen it and you want to jump in on the chat as we talk about all of the things that worked, that didn't work, that were good, that were bad, our chat will not Fawn Jaratui, yes, you are late. Unfortunately, we're just wrapping up. Missed the whole thing. But if you've seen the Snyder Cut of Justice League, we're talking about our full fat spoiler chat show, which is Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time here in the US. And we're going to be talking about the Snyder Cut. If you don't mind spoilers, you can watch it too, because we're going to be spoiling the heck out of it. That's why the show is called Full Fat Spoiler Chat.
I mean, it'll be shorter than the movie.
It'll be, I was about to make that joke. Damn it. And it will be way shorter than the movie, roughly 1/4 the length. Anyway, folks, thank you all. Stay safe, folks. Please, continue to work towards getting those vaccines. But even afterwards, keep your social distance, wear your mask when you're in public, wash your hands, etc. So stay safe. Bye-bye.